Hi, Trina Wright here from the Wright Robinson Institute, where we offer leading edge education for living a juicy, blissed out, passionate, aligned life. So, I just wanted to take a little bit of time to share myself with you. I see that you have discovered the About Me section of my website, and if you read through the description that I wrote out about myself, it was very based in the blendedness that I am looking for, the very now version of me. And in fact, I really didn't tell you very much at all about myself in terms of the stories that I would use to describe me, or any of the characteristics that are really how I would describe the personality basis that's me. So I thought it would be fun to just do it in a little video and share with you a little bit about my feelings and ideas around story and why I did that as a purposeful, intentional thing. So I find stories very interesting. We often attach to stories. We use them as a means of doing many things for ourselves. Sometimes we use them to justify where we sit, to argue for our limitations. Sometimes we use stories to remember the best parts of ourselves so that we can usher that in more in a big way. And what I think is really interesting is that we sometimes have this belief that a story defines us, that we're the collection of our stories, and it sort of taps into our human nature, and we love to hear that. And we love to hear stories where people have sort of overcome something. And I guess I'm in a place of wanting to shift that. I believe that I am definitely the makeup of the stories, but I see that they were all older past versions of me that as I expanded and became, I can look back at them, honor them, respect them, love them, delight in them, because they're the things that brought me to where I stand now, but not have to feel attached to them. And I also am very cognizant about the stories that I tell about myself, which is why I didn't share a lot. So the basis of who I am, I like to play with as being moment to moment, so that I can tell any story and be any version of me that is the best version at any given moment. So lately I've really been trying on the version that is a confident entrepreneur as I move forward into this business that is my passion and my love, and just to flow with that. So I did want to just very quickly, as quickly as I can, get out this story about me, just because I think it's relevant in the sense of demonstrating that stories are just stories. They're just a part of who we are, and that I also had a big story that I've redefined and choose to move forward with in a really powerful way, just as a demonstration that no matter what your stories are, you also can do that. So I'm a mom of 4 kids. I guess that has been the biggest part of my identity for most of my adult life. And 6 years ago, my husband at the time, the father of my 4 children, was killed suddenly in an accident. And it was definitely a moment of awakening within myself, and I could look back and see it as a moment of awakening that really turned a corner for me. But I could also tell you that I thought I was already awake. So it was the beginning of my coming to understand that awakening is an ongoing process, that it isn't something where we just awaken and then we're always awake. It's a moment to moment thing. And I think it's easy if we go sort of back and review the different versions of ourselves, we can see how that awakening continues, because we never get it done. So we're always evolving and expanding. So in the process of this experience with myself, I did awaken to myself in more ways. I also made some discoveries that I really didn't like the feeling of that contrast. I really didn't like the feeling of him not being in my physical experience, and I really wanted to recreate that feeling. And so the soothing that I looked for was in trying to find another relationship, looking for love in all the wrong places, so to speak, to sort of help soothe that. And I did just that, and within about 6 to 8 months knew that that was not the right thing for me to have done, just from a feeling sense. I mean, obviously in the moment there was a matching vibration between the new guy and I that soothed something within me, but as a permanent place for me to reside, I knew that it wasn't for me. And I spent the next course of years in that process of moving into the love that I knew was in myself, in a sort of unconventional way, I guess. I mean, I don't know that I did it with full intention and awareness, but it was part of what was happening within me. As I bounced up against the contrast and moved around it and really clarified what I wanted more, I was then able to stand into that knowing of myself, so that when I did decide to end the relationship, I really wanted the universe to play a part in that, and to just make it this easy thing where in fact he decided to walk away and it wasn't me pushing him away, because that felt like just more ease for me. And also that I very quickly after that, just, within days, and I see that the geese are singing with me in relationship to this, I started to fall deliriously, intoxicatingly in love with myself, and that took me to a whole new place within me. And it was this delightful opportunity to find all the things that I wanted and felt I needed that could be within me, to just really sink into this juicy relationship that I have with my inner being that mirrors everything that I could ever want in a relationship with anyone else, and really sinking into the knowing that it was in that I was going to feel so full, that the satisfaction I had been yearning for through my whole life, but in particular after his death, and the realization that the fact that he wasn't there physically for me had been a real excuse for my alignment. Not a bad excuse, but it was an excuse. And so when he ceased to exist, and my arguing with reality didn't change it, I had to come to the realization that my happiness had to come from inside of me, that I had to make a choice of how I was going to feel in any given moment. And so that is what I did. And I really wanted to be this person that can see that story, feel slightly detached from the story, tell the story as I want it to be. So I feel that it's a story of empowerment. I can see how that experience has brought me to this wonderful, beautiful place. I have a fabulous relationship with my dearly departed, better than we had in physical. And I really feel like it was a co-creation between the two of us, that his departing was the next step in my evolution, my expansion, and really took me to this new place of love within myself and this new opportunity to envision relationship in a new way. So that's how I look at story. I don't see that we have to get stuck in our stories. I see that we are so multifaceted, that all our stories kind of come together and form who we are, and we get to highlight and illuminate in any given moment which story we want to focus on, not only which story, but how we want to tell the story, what we want to emphasize in the story, because that really, the stories that we tell today are the stories that we're going to live tomorrow. And so as we know that and think about it and be conscious in it, that is part of how we think our life or talk our life or vibrate our life into being. So anyway, I just wanted to share that little version of myself. As you heard, I'm a mom, an entrepreneur, partner, a lover of life, and a joyful expander, a teacher, a learner. I'm all of those things, so many things, so multifaceted that it's hard to really capture. And so that's why for me, I just love to show up as whatever is the best version of me in any given moment, what feels best for me to define myself, because I don't have to be constant. I can be fluid in my beingness, and that's such a fun game to play with. So I just wanted to share that little part of myself with you. And thank you for stopping by and checking out the website. You have a wonderful day, and remember that you aren't your stories. You get to be whoever you want to be. You get to decide how those stories flow and how they lead you into the next expansion of you. So take care.